The acclaimed series by Donald and Stephen Glover has come to an end. This series will endure in many people's hearts, and the "It Was All a Dream" finale firmly establishes its legacy in Black culture. The trio of men we met as they struggled through everyday life in Atlanta with hazy visions of the future are now seated on fine furniture in Al's contemporary apartment as opposed to a broken couch in a deserted field. As Earn and Al converse, Darius sits on Al's couch and watches Judge Judy at the beginning of the episode. They offer him to join them on their daytime activities, but he declines because of his scheduled appointment at a sensory deprivation tank. In order to eat at Atlanta's first Black-owned sushi restaurant, which was founded by a man who studied under a true sushi master in Japan and brought his knowledge back to develop Black sushi fusion, Al and Earn meet up with Van after they part ways. The restaurant, which is housed in an abandoned Blockbuster, which sounds like setting yourself up for failure, is a mashup of a corner shop, hood restaurant, and sushi bar. By the cash register, there are shelves with candies, lip gloss, and clothing for sale. Al is given a key and told to go to the closest Rainbow when he has to use the restroom. Rap music is playing as hot white Hennessy is poured in place of sake. The Popeyes across the street, which sounds more enticing than what Earn, Al, and Van are about to witness, immediately diverts their attention. Although the eccentric proprietor DeMarcus is a big fan of Paperboy, the restaurant goes out of its way to please them, yet none of the Black Japanese fusion meals are a hit. Van grumbles because there is corn in the rice. Earn wants to stay, despite Al's continued recommendation of Popeyes. Van adds that the fish is raw but warm, and Al points out that the chef is forming the sushi rolls with just his bare hands. Al decides that this is the last straw and heads to Rainbow with the restroom key. He starts to leave when he gets back to his buddies, but the waiter persuades them to stay since they've produced the chef's special. Blowfish, a rare Japanese delicacy that can only be prepared by a chef with specialized training because the skin and liver are deadly. They can't all go that far, and as they leave, DeMarcus approaches them after accurately spotting their Popeyes run. DeMarcus starts rambling in a speech about his concerns with Black culture. He describes the community's frigid welcome and double standards as reasons for his dissatisfaction with the reception his restaurant has received. He tells Earn, Van, and Al that the restaurant was packed with Black people, hopped up on nationalism who came to support a Black business, but the blowfish went untouched, and there were multiple reviews saying he was serving poison. He is recalling the premiere of Queen and Slim at the nearby theater. However, if a brother from Alabama does it the same way, suddenly the fish is unclean, he claims, referring to how traditional sushi chefs prepare the food with their hands and serve it at room temperature. He labels the chain a modern-day coon chicken with a false Aunt Jemima-esque spokeswoman, concocted to deflect from the fact that it's owned by an Italian man and his family because he's frustrated that his invention will never equal Popeye's popularity. Al acknowledges DeMarcus's annoyance but continues to object to the blowfish, which causes DeMarcus to sneer and add, "What, you want some hot sauce to go with it, brother?" Then he tells them, "That's our future. Look at the young Black males outside Popeyes doing foolish teenager SHT. Being sold back to us salted and battered in our own image. We don't trust one another, according to DeMarcus, and we've been told again and time again that the only person you can trust is yourself." This entire debate is incredibly insightful and true, and I can sense the Glover brothers' frustration in each and every word. In many ways, Atlanta is like this restaurant. A showcase for the best in high-caliber television blended with Black culture. Undoubtedly, Donald is a skilled craftsman, and this work was created to honor both his craft and Black culture. However, many Black people are Donald's biggest detractors. Although I'm not a huge fan of his preachy approach, I understand what he's trying to say. Too frequently, Black people fall into the consumerist trap that white supremacy sets for us. This topic is frustrating to me as well, but what's lacking from it is how we've been brainwashed on a systemic level. Instead, it's framed in the "niggas are going to be niggas" mentality. Instead of speaking at us, this should have been an opportunity to engage the Black community. However, I concur with the attitude and think that a lot of Black art is disregarded by our own people because we have been socially taught to refrain from engaging totally and intellectually with our culture. The biggest distinction is that Atlanta is truly terrific, whereas that sushi restaurant is significantly smaller. It was one of the few programs on modern television to depict Blackness as genuine and natural. A show fan put it best when she said it was the Glovers' chance to tell tales that don't simply focus on Black excellence, but also random, occasionally banal Blackness. Atlanta is a show built for us, with the exception of the previous season, which occasionally seemed to be attempting to explain the black experience to white viewers. And I think this entire season is proof of it. Atlanta's Afro-surrealist essence wouldn't allow it to conclude by neatly bowing itself off with a simple message. The most outlandish character on the program is used to sabotage Earn, Al, and Van's normal day. Darius picks up a medication at the drugstore before leaving for his appointment. He meets a woman while he waits for the pharmacy to locate his medication. She overhears that he is going to a sensory deprivation tank and says that she started going about a year ago. The images in the tank, she claimed, had to be stopped because they were getting too powerful. Darius explains that his secret to staying grounded is to watch Judge Judy on television, and if she's thick, he knows he's in trouble. London, an old friend from Darius's wild partying days, runs into him as he makes his way to the appointment and insists on giving him a ride so they can catch up. She offers him some of her marijuana and is obviously still very much living the party life. He reluctantly smokes with her even though he usually doesn't before his sessions. He then requests a sip of water but is instead given vodka when he finds out. They get stopped by the police because of her car tints, just as she is informing him that she has been macrodosing all day. London has been through this before, and she humorously passes her sobriety test despite downing the entire water bottle of vodka. Then takes the police officer's gun, leaves Darius in the car, speeds off, collides with a person, and escapes. He suddenly awakens in the tank coughing, and the attendant oddly advises him to cool down in the tea room, which is crowded with white women who chatter endlessly about having tea there. Darius yells for them to wake up out of sheer panic and is expelled. Then a young black man his age welcomes Darius when he enters what appears to be a random residence. Even if their conversation is a little awkward, the two are obviously deeply in love. While he waits for the rice, Darius picks up some of the pictures around the house, revealing that he is with his brother. He then offers Darius a bowl of jollof. He awakens once more in the tank after noticing a heavy Judge Judy on TV. This loop keeps repeating itself until he's ultimately able to connect with Earn, Al, and Van in the sushi restaurant and protect them from DeMarcus, who at the conclusion of his speech was planning to lock them in. On the way back to Al's, they stop at Popeyes and perform donuts after being instructed by Darius to get in his pink Maserati. Al inquires about the origin of the car while they finish their supper on the couch. Although Darius claims to have stolen it, it makes no difference because he is still in the tank. Earn claims that he is hallucinating and that he is actually there with them and that they are his friends, but Darius suggests that perhaps it was all a dream and that they are simply and perpetually there in it. Darius is left in the living room by Earn, Al, and Van while they ignore him and go outside to smoke. He pauses to enjoy his friend's company before moving to the television to watch Judge Judy. Does it really matter if she is thick or not? We never see. With Funkadelics, the song is familiar playing us out, the series comes to a stunning conclusion.